terrible. We are live. It is 2:07 Central Standard Time in the United States, 8:07 BST in the UK. This is the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe.
Hey.
Coming to you live
Hey,
this 10th day of August 2025. And if you're watching the stream, congratulations. That's great. We appreciate that. And if you watch the stream later on YouTube, that's great too. If you notice, we have Mike Fry. He decided to come on by and lose an hour of his life. He's never getting this back. So, sounds good. It's all the way there. And you said you're in Manchester? So
Yeah.
How far is that from where Joe, for people, probably the two people who are not from the UK that watch the show, how far is that from where Joe lives? It's like an hour?
I'm not too sure.
It's longer than an hour.
Oh, okay.
It probably is, yeah.
Look, if I was
Because
driving to Manchester now, let's have a look. I'll tell you.
Okay. I just thought it was one of those. Manchester's a pretty well-known place. Luton's not as well-known to other people, but, for folks like us,
If I was to drive now, it would take 3 hours and 56 minutes.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. So is Manchester way more north, like more central UK?
Pretty much up north, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
A train would take 3 hours and a half.
Well, then you should just take the train, because then way you don't have to worry about being on a interstate.
Right, yeah.
Or they don't have interstates. What do they call them? Freeway? What do they call them in the UK?
Motorways.
Motorways. Oh, the M. That's what M stands for. M25 motorway. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the United States, call them interstates because we have states, and they go between the states. State.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. They don't have states in the UK like that, so that's okay. So welcome, Mike. Thanks for coming on board, and haven't seen you in a while. It's been quite a while since we had you on the show last, so we appreciate you.
Yeah, I think
spending some time with us.
Yeah, I think that was back in 2022, the last time you guys had me over here.
Has it been that long? Has it really?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought we had you on sooner than that.
It's been a while, but I know. I think you've been on.
I'm going to look at the archive now and see. Yeah, I'm sure it's been
either sooner. 2022 or 2023.
Yeah, it's been quite a few years. I know it's been at least a year or two for sure. So,
wow.
So let me go to the episode list here, and while Joe's doing that, because I can go all the way to the back. No, it looks like we had him on 3 years ago.
Yeah,
that long
3 years ago. Yeah, it says that's what it says. 3 years ago, and I don't.
Well, this is long overdue then.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. We shouldn't actually have you. It shouldn't be that long between.
No, it shouldn't be.
So anyway, I know that you're. How is everything going with what? First of all, everything you're doing online or in your channel or whatever? How are those things going right now for your tech life, as it were?
Yeah. To be honest, I've been kind of like winding down on the YouTube stuff, as kind of taking a back seat because I've been going full time for Fandroid.
Okay.
So, okay.
1 year ago.
Oh, 1 year ago.
Well, I hadn't gotten to the rest of the list.
Okay.
I know he had been on twice, but I'm trying to. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it says 1 year ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've had. I knew we had you on twice, but I thought it was 3 years and 2 years now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Cool. All right.
I know my podcast, man. I know it.
There you go. I just had to pull up the episode list. So yeah. So the Fandroid thing. Okay, that's cool. How's that? How's that going? It sounds pretty good. Probably if you're looking to show.
Yeah, it's we are, I think, the oldest Android use site. So a lot of my a lot of my efforts with producing content has been going for Fandroid, since it just pretty much writing news takes a lot out of you, and of course you have to keep monitoring the internet for any new stuff. So that leaves a bit less time for me to edit my own videos.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it's kind of taking a backseat, the whole YouTube thing. And I'm not sure if this applies to anyone. So I've seen complaints from like other creators about like something changed with the YouTube algorithm. So like some people are seeing less views and less traction on their videos compared to like a couple years back. I think maybe some YouTube changed something with the way that the algorithm works. It's kind of like it has been everyone's theory, at least from the handful of creators that I've talked to. So yeah, I'm still doing YouTube, but not as frequently as before. So yeah.
Okay. Is that just because you're busy with just life and everything else and Fandroid work, and then is it just I could probably maintain it, but it's I mean it's just is there more to it, just a time crunch, or is it more like just it's like
I think it's more of like a balancing stuff. So I guess compared to a couple of years ago, obviously before we had the baby, I had a lot more time for YouTube, and that's balancing everything between my day job and taking care of our kid, and doing YouTube on the weekends or whenever I have free time. So it's mostly been that, but I like to think I'm still pretty updated on a lot of the tech stuff, even though I don't publish a lot of YouTube.
Yeah, well, I've seen you on videos on Fandroid now, so it's not just on the website you're doing stuff. So you're doing a lot more work for them now, aren't you?
Occasionally they'll have me do some of the video reviews for some of the devices. Yeah, so I think there's a handful of videos with me in there. Yeah,
I mean that's good exposure, mate. That's really good.
Yeah, it's nice to be on a larger platform. And my videos on there definitely get more views on my videos on my own channel. So yeah.
Well, hopefully that will bring people to your channel too, like people might look back at some of your videos if they like the ones they see on Fandroid.
Hopefully, some people that is much welcome if some people see my videos.
The only thing is you can't exactly go, this is Mike on Fandroid. Go and check out my channel. You can't really go
like sneak in a small subtitle saying that.
Yeah. Subtly put on the phone like your channel when you're reviewing it.
Yeah.
So well, and that, like I said, it's just one of those things where, especially where when your domestic and life situation changes, that really puts a lot of, especially with children. As Joe and I both know, we're now fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, my daughters are almost 24 years old. So I've kind of been down that path a little bit where you all have still young children, that kind of thing. I will tell you that I'm glad that they were little back in 2004 and 2003. That was a little easier than it is now. So it's partially just generally. I mean, it's in the United States, it's hard for childcare and then balancing a work-life balance, and then costs of things have not gone up, post-pandemic and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of glad they're now older. However, now they're struggling with trying to establish themselves as young adults, and it's a lot harder financially to kind of do their own thing. So, which is fine. Yeah. So, well, that's good. So I'm glad you're at least getting to still do some of that, but really kind of enjoy. Like how often is your workload like Fandroid? Do they is it like a weekly thing? Is it ad hoc? I mean, how does that work? How is your structure with that? I mean, if you can talk about that.
It's basically more of a daily thing. So we try to cover as much, I guess, interesting news as we can throughout the day about tech in general. And obviously we focus on Android news and stuff, but also we do get, if there's some pretty big news and like interesting tech stuff, we make sure to feature that. So our editor-in-chief Nick, he does most of the videos, and if you checked out the channel, he does a lot of the product reviews. So the rest of the new stuff is handled by the writing team, which I'm a part of. So so mostly Android news with more stuff sprinkled in between. So we occasionally we cover gaming stuff if there's like big Xbox or PlayStation news, if there's something about Tesla, or maybe stuff from LG. Maybe LG has a new speaker or something. And obviously we have the product reviews in between, so we do get to try out products other than Android phones and then feature them on the website as well.
That's cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think I've always been meaning to ask. I don't know if I have asked. How did it come about you getting into Fandroid?
So a couple of years back, my YouTube channel was my main thing. Back in I guess maybe a few years back. And then around 2022, I think I saw Fandroid looking for a freelance writer. So I tried applying for that, and we did a few steps to see how things would work out, and eventually it did work out, thankfully. So they got me full time on the writing team. It was back in 2022, So I've been
Nice,
writing for this site for like 3 years now.
Right, it flies, doesn't it? It does
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was that about just like did they ask you to submit some articles like just to kind of read them over just to see if that kind of aligned with what they were looking for, or like how did that work? I was just curious because like when you apply, I'm sure that you don't have an interview. Clearly, if you're doing
Mhm.
writing, they want to see how you write and what's your structure and your are
Yeah.
you I'm curious. So did you like did they give you like, hey, we want you to
Um,
review this device, or did you say, hey, I'll come up with my own subject matter material and I'll write about whatever I feel like and submit that? Like how does that process work for folks when you think about trying to write freelance for those folks?
It was kind of a mix, at least in my situation. So I got to write some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. So I remember one of my first editorials on there being something about the Pixel 3a at the time.
Gotcha.
But at the same time, I would get some writing assignments like, can you do a review on this product? So that was back when I was doing part-time for them. So yeah, I guess eventually it got to the point where I was writing a lot, and I guess that's part of why they decided to get me full-time on the site.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, so I want to kind of I just happen to be on the Fandroid. I do check this site out quite a bit, so it's not like this is the first time I've ever looked it up. Don't feel bad. But I noticed that back in late July, you wrote an interesting article that I wanted to kind of ask you about, which is about why you ditched Google's smartphones, like Pixels.
Oh, yeah,
Like I thought that was a pretty interesting article, and obviously if you're if you're clutching your pearls and you have your Pixel and you're just like rub it on your face and you're just all about the Pixel life, you could read this article and think it's really kind of throwing a lot of shade, but really, I mean, if you read through it with more, I like Pixels, don't get me wrong, I still have mine, but if you read it more from a kind of a objective standpoint, it isn't. It's just why you personally have moved away from it, not necessarily advocating that people should do it. So
and quickly, like Mike is a big Pixel fan, so
right.
Yeah.
For him to write, I thought it was write that. Yeah.
And I read through the article. I'm like, that's an interesting article, and I kind of like, so obviously anybody can read that. If you want to go to Fandroid's website, you can. It's clearly on the front page. If you go to the
I think I have the same sort of feelings.
Yeah, I don't disagree with it. The funny thing is, I as much as I like and still use the Pixel, although I've moved on, and I will talk about that later. I can't really disagree with any of the assessment of it. So, I guess was that like kind of like a thing that was kind of building, or was it just like it was just a long time coming, or you just finally like it's just I've had enough and I just don't think it's going anywhere. We're kind of like meh, and I'm just ready to get out of here. So like, how did that evolve over the last couple of years?
Well, first of all, thanks a lot for checking out the article. And I actually also did a video on the topic on my own channel, and then I kind of wanted to do the editorial with the same topic over in Fandroid. So came out, I don't know, I guess things just got stale for me. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, obviously if you want to for Pixel users out there, if you want to continue using them, by all means keep using your Pixels, but I don't know, I guess it got kind of boring for me. Yeah, because when I first got the 3A, it was really my first time using a Google brand smartphone, because having lived my entire life in the Philippines prior to moving to the UK, I always see these reviews about the Nexus phones and the first ever Pixel phones. I said, oh man, I wish they sold those here. And then I go here, I get a Pixel 3a, and oh wow, the software is so clean. You get the monthly updates. The camera is terrific. And then this went on for the Pixel 4a, and then eventually Google started doing the Tensor stuff. And I don't know, at some point I kind of missed there was some stuff that I would occasionally miss when using Pixels, but I would try to try to defend or justify myself to keep using Pixels. Like, right. This is one small example, and I've complained about this a lot on the internet. So in a lot of apps and games, when you're running them on Pixels, they usually wouldn't run full screen if the developer doesn't designed the app to go full screen on your Pixel, so you'll have this big black bar on the around the notch cutout. So it's a really small complaint. It's a petty complaint if you think about it. But ever since Google decided to do the full screen thing, and they wouldn't really allow you to manually stretch the app or beyond the confines of the notch cutout, whereas other developers have been able to do that, like other brands rather, like Samsung, OnePlus, you've been able to stretch your app's display. And it's one of those, so that's one thing. And then more recently, it's with the battery issues with the Pixel 7a and the 6a. Like, yeah, I can see Michael's comment below. So the Pixels 4a, 7a, and 6a battery. I also wrote about those on Fandroid. Right. And I also did a video about these issues on my channel. Yeah, and it's pretty frustrating because Google, I love the Pixels, or used to love them a lot, but yeah, it just got to a point where the hardware limitations kind of got frustrating.
Yeah,
the overheating got frustrating, the battery anxiety got frustrating, and I missed using, I guess, Samsung phones, and I miss using a Snapdragon phone. So yeah, I sold.
Yeah,
I got rid of all the Pixels. Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody else, I was reading another article, and I don't remember the website, so I apologize to the folks listening. But it was basically talking about the things that the Pixel just hasn't really moved through, right? So we're talking about like the fact that you have the persistent Google bar, the fact that you can't apply an icon pack, you really can't do all these kind of customizations that have kind of become really hallmarks of Android devices. Like, it's the one Android device you really can't do anything with. And like I said, and again, I still have. I mean, I decided to go ahead and pick up a Fold 7, and I've had it. No, I got it on. Did I get it Saturday or Friday? I can't remember. I think it had to be Friday because I was doing. So if it only had a couple days, and coming from the Fold 5, this is just like it's stupid. How like the hardware is completely, and again, and I feel bad because I've never had a chance to try the original Pixel Fold or the 9 Pro Fold. And I know the 10's coming out soon, but I don't know, man. I just kind of forgot how, and I got used to some of the software stuff and that kind of thing. But I think for folks who are really kind of looking, I think this iteration, people kind of dumped on the edge, and I get it, but just the thinness of the phone, and now using the Fold 7, and then the Flip 7. I think Samsung is finally starting to kind of push. They finally have decided, okay, look, we can't just do this iterative stuff. We have got to move. And I think if Apple does that in the 17, which it looks like it does, obviously the back looks like it's going to change. I think Pixel might start to slide a little bit here. I think they're kind of, until they can come up with something more hardware different or something that kind of just pushes them, I think they're going to be competing against Samsung if they really push the, like I said, I did want to. One funny thing I've been noticing, maybe it's just because of an algorithm thing, but I've seen a lot of videos of people who are Apple people kind of getting fed up with Apple. I think part of it is the Tim Cook Trump thing, which this is stupid because Samsung's done the same thing with the U.S. government. So come on, let's calm down. But be that as it may, but I think that they're looking for something new, and a lot of people are talking about switching from an iPhone to a Flip 7, or what I mean. Wow. They're like, and I'm like, that's something I really never really saw a lot of until like the last year or two. It really seems like people are starting to kind of, now granted, the iPhone people who are real hardcore are not going to do it, but you're having some more peripheral people that are kind of like, hey, I've had an iPhone for like 10 or 12 or 13 years. It's the same thing every year. I'm just going to try something new and see. Or I used an Android device, 15 years ago or 10 years ago, and went to iPhone. And I'm kind of going to see how they've got along and how they've come back to it, whether they talk about a OnePlus or whatever. Do you actually see, I mean, just in your own experience, other than just watching videos and stuff, do you see that as a possibility that the Fold 7, the Flip 7, and the Razors are starting to kind of maybe, since Apple's not getting into the foldable space yet, the people are starting to kind of maybe think about trying something new Android-wise? And maybe is it just because of Flip, or maybe they're just ready for new OS and not just necessarily a Flip?
It's interesting you asked that, because with my own personal experience, so my wife, she's been using iPhone since like the iPhone 11. So she spent the past half decade on iOS, and then sometimes I would ask her to if she wanted to use Android phones, and she would use an Android phone if it was a Galaxy Z Flip phone. Yeah.
Interesting. Is it because of the form factor, or really is it because of the
form factor?
What about Moto? Moto do a nice flippy dippy.
Yeah, I don't think she's seen that yet. She's more familiar with the Samsung, but I definitely have to let her know about the Motorola. Actually, right now she's using, her main phone is an iPhone 16 Pro, but when she's at home, she uses an Honor Magic VS.
Okay.
It's Honor's big earlier folding phone, so she uses that mainly for Netflix and social media and web browsing and stuff. And yeah, so she does use the main folding screen, but yeah, it's strange. She likes iOS so much, but the only Android devices she wants to use full time are the foldable ones, which is interesting to see. And I think what you said about Apple not going into the foldable space, maybe that has something to do with it. I can imagine if Apple came out with a foldable, maybe she'd want to try it. But
she'd want that, yeah.
Yeah. But for now, with Samsung being the default face of foldables, I can understand why she's tempted to like try out the Z Flip.
It's an interesting comment from Sean that he actually puts Nova on his Pixel.
Oh,
yeah, because I mean, for a lot of people, normally the software is the plus side of Pixel launcher. But yeah, that's quite interesting. He puts Nova on there.
Yeah, I on my older non-Pixel phones, I would get Nova Launcher and try to make it feel like a Pixel.
Okay.
So
take away the things that annoy you.
Yeah. But when I started using Pixel phones, I didn't use launchers anymore. I think I used it for a bit on my Pixel 3a, and then I just ditched it altogether because I already got the stock look.
Yeah.
People are saying, yeah.
Because I've bought Nova, but I never really use it. I bought it quite a while back, so it was going cheap. I think I got it like 79p or something silly like that. But yeah, I never use it. I always go with what's stock on the phone.
What's on the phone, yeah. But what I do like about Nova is it's really customizable. I mean, back in 2017, 2018, 2019, it was very customizable back then. And right now, there's just a ton of features that, I don't know. I haven't used it in a while, but I can imagine that it's, as far as customizability goes, it's probably one of the best options out there for launchers.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, Samsung has Good Lock, which makes that more personal. Hey, Sam's back.
We have some thunderstorms happening here, and the power just went down for like 5 seconds and came back. I was like, well, that's enough to restart a router. So that's cool. So
Sam, I really should have took a picture of your freeze screen. It was quite funny. I refrained from doing it at this time.
That's cool. Yeah. So of course the better half jumped in, and she's watching. She just let you know what's going on. So yeah. So I missed everything. So sorry about that. Continue.
So we were just talking about Sean. Sean said that he puts Nova on his Pixel. We started talking about launchers and stuff. So if you've got anything you want to add to that, Sam?
I for some reason, I don't know why, but on my Pixels, I did dabble a little bit with like Nova, Octopi, Microsoft Launcher. I just kind of went with the stock Pixel launcher because it was okay. It didn't bother me. But I can understand why people would. The only thing that really bothered me about the Pixel experience was the not changing icon packs. I like to switch those up every once in a while. The stock ones just like, but it was all good. So, but yeah, I mean, it just I'm gonna. I got this, and usually on most Samsung devices, I usually do switch the launcher. I do like Microsoft Launcher a lot, but I did see. I think I'm going to go back to using the one that was it's the Windows Phone one, but it's not the one I thought. There was one called Square Home that I used to use a lot.
Oh, yeah, I think.
But there's another one that I can't remember. I saw it in an article, and I might give that a try. And I do miss the ability to just, it's easy when you're on a Samsung device just to go into good lock or just change the icon pack. It's kind of nice just to change it up a little bit, give it a little bit of a. And I did miss the live wallpapers. I do kind of miss that when you're doing a live lock screen. I took a video. I was in South Carolina on my trip, and I took a video of like the beach. Right? I was like, sunset wasn't all the way set. It was getting close to the horizon. And it was like a 25-second video and so I trimmed it to 15 seconds and put on, that's my lock screen. And it's kind of cool. Like it's little things like that I kind of missed about having a Samsung device. But yeah, and it's, I just find it interesting that I think this might be the first year that Apple, if they're paying attention, really starts to kind of feel the pain of not getting into the foldable thing, because I'll tell you, maybe foldables aren't the thing, but the flip phones are starting to catch the eyes of people in the the Apple world. More women. It seems like I think Samsung did a study where more men are ordering flips and more women are ordering folds, and more women are ordering flips, which kind of makes sense. Women do like to have that more compact thing because they have smaller pockets, they have a purse. They kind of seem to, although I do like the flips, I do like having that form factor. So I don't know. It's interesting. I think if Apple keeps kind of coming up with the same thing every year, I think people are starting to get a little crabby about it. I think, does that mean they're going to leave Apple altogether? Probably not. And a lot of people just are okay with that. But I see a lot more videos than I used to see where people are starting to switch, which I find to be kind of interesting in the US and Canada. That's kind of a different thing that I'm used to seeing. So it's interesting. Whether it's an anomaly, I don't know. Will it really affect a lot of market share? Probably not. And I still think that, especially if Apple comes out with a flip, it's going to be game over. So I don't know if they're going to do that anytime soon. If they already have it developed,
flip things on its head.
Right. I think that'll be it. And I think once, especially if they can get the software down pretty well, I think
if
a lot of people
they get it software.
Well, I mean, it would be their first iteration of a foldable or flippable, right? And they're going to have the same growing pains at all manufacturers.
I have a feeling they're working on it. Mike, where's your SIM at the moment?
So right now it's only here. So I got rid of all my pixels. So I'm just using the base S25.
Okay.
You've always preferred a smaller device, haven't you?
Yeah. Also because they're cheaper. So
we say more affordable. We don't say cheaper because you want to be more bang for your buck. But how do you like the S25? It looks like any of the S series, the base models seem to be pretty decent from what I can see.
So comparing the S25 to my last flagship Pixel experience, which was the Pixel 9, so it's a lot more customizable. The build quality on the S25, I think, is a bit more solid, because on my Pixel 9, I'd had a bit of creaking if you press a certain spot in the rear panel. And I Googled that, and apparently some people are having that problem as well with their Pixel 9s.
Interesting.
But of course, it's a case-to-case basis. And so going back to the software, obviously the Pixel software experience is a lot cleaner, but with the S25 with One UI, I kind of miss One UI. I thought I didn't expect to miss it, but I'm having a pretty good time using it. Although I will be honest that the camera on the Pixels are definitely more consistent. I mean, I will get good shots on the S25, especially in daylight,
right?
Outdoor shots. Especially, I take a lot of pictures of my 2-year-old, but once I go indoors, there are a lot of times where I have to redo the shot just to get a decent looking picture of my kid. With the Pixels, I know that you pretty much know that's going to be a decent looking photo with the Pixels. So it's Google has made it so simple for people to get good photos from their smartphones that when you switch over to a different brand, it kind of becomes a bit more challenging.
Yeah, when you're talking point and shoot, especially with moving subjects like a pet or a child, it's without doubt, it's the best. Samsung, I will give them. I think they have improved though. They're getting a little bit more consistent.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're still not quite there.
Yeah, because I remember the last Samsung flagship I used was the Galaxy S9, and yeah, the difference in photo quality. Obviously, there's going to be a huge difference because it's been half a decade since the S9. But yeah, I like what Samsung has done with how the S25 processes images. But again, Pixel kind of has the upper hand. On one hand, though, when it comes to video quality, I do prefer the Samsung. Video is a lot more consistent with the Galaxy S25 versus the Pixel. Even with the front video quality, I actually used the S25 to do some of my aerial shots for some of my videos on YouTube. Yeah,
I think that's where the roles reverse. Like Samsung ahead of Pixel, but Pixel's slowly getting better.
yeah. So yeah, Pixel video quality is improved, but I would say that Samsung still has slightly better video quality. Yeah, and also, it's nice not to have a phone that doubles as a hand warmer, especially if you're playing games. So, which is obviously Google made big improvements with the Pixel 9. With regards to this, it doesn't heat up as much as the Pixel 8 or the Pixel 7. But yeah, I don't know. It's been smooth sailing with the S25. Although I will be honest, I have been tempted to let me find it to switch my SIM sometimes with the Poco F7.
Okay. Yeah, Pocos are nice.
But
I've never had a Poco, but I have some Xiaomi phones before, and I've liked the couple I've had. I really liked. Actually, I had the one I can't remember. It's the 3 Mi Mix 3. I think is what it was. That was cool. And then I had a Mi 11, and actually that's the phone I had when I took all my pictures in Puerto Rico, and I loved that phone. I actually really wish I would have kept it. But yeah, so Pocos and Xiaomi, I've had a pretty good experience with them. Not recently, but they look pretty solid.
Yeah, the thing with Xiaomi phones is that for the flagships, you are going to get pretty good camera performance. I mean, the Poco F7 takes decent shots, but nowhere near the level that you'd get on like a Xiaomi 15. Is it Xiaomi 14 right now or Xiaomi 15?
I think it's on the 15. Isn't it the 15? I don't know. The funny thing is I haven't seen a lot of content about it, and since I really haven't been paying much attention to Xiaomi, I don't know why it seems like they've kind of dropped off a little bit as far as like mainstream coverage because of Honor and all these other companies. I don't hear as much about them. I don't know if that's just because people just kind of moved away from Xiaomi. There's more competition in the market, so people have maybe focused on other device like Nothing and stuff like that, or what. But to answer A's question real quick, I'm a PlayStation guy. I just had this shirt forever, and it's laundry day, so I just pulled this out. But I actually I still have my Xbox Series X. I actually gave it to my daughter. So Anna pretty much plays the Xbox. I have a PS5. I've been a PlayStation guy by pretty much my whole life. So
which Poco is that, Mike?
It's the base model F7. I did have the
F7.
For a while, I did have the F7 Pro, but yeah, the F7 does have a larger battery. Although the F7 is running on the 8S Gen 4 versus the F7 Pro, which is the 8 Gen 3 from Qualcomm. Yeah, so also the base model also has a larger battery at 6,500. Versus the 6,000 on the F7 Pro, which is kind of weird.
Some battery there.
Yeah. I have a couple of games that are on my S25 and on my F7 at the same time. So I just sync the saves, but I tend to play more often on the F7 because of the battery. So yeah.
And and I agree with Sean. I used to use Nova Launcher big time. I stopped using it just because I got, for some reason, for like a year or so, I just got on this kick where I was just trying every possible launcher I could get my hands on just to kind of see which one I liked. I even tried, there's a Linux one that basically put Linux, command line Linux stuff in it. It's crazy. That one, it's a little bit more, I have to do that enough at work. Mad. Well, I had to do it a lot at work. So the funny thing is, because of my work, I'm good at Linux. I'm Unix commands. I'm good at command line. But because I think the reason why I stopped using it because it was like, okay, I'm at work doing Linux shit, and now I'm in Linux stuff, and I'm like, it's just like I can't. But it's cool having a command line to launch, basically do the command line to launch apps. It's kind of funny. I just think it's kind of cool. No coffee today. I had it this morning. I have it every morning. Well, not every morning, but at least a cup or so. But no. And Joe, you guys make sure you're hydrating because Jimmy will get pissed if you.
I've said some
Ribena. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's water
So
here.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So good deal. And there's a DT, our buddy, our friend at DT. How are you doing, sir? Especially more photography. It seems like Xiaomi really has focused on their photography chops.
Mhm.
Obviously, I think to me, honestly, I think Huawei still does probably a better job. But obviously, in the United States, the Huawei
Thing is with
Honor
Xiaomi,
phones aren't really available for us. So
thing with Xiaomi, they come out earlier in the year, and I think that's why it's gone a bit quieter now. Is it not normally around this time they come out with their T though? Shouldn't the 15T come out?
And there might be.
Yeah.
I don't even. I haven't, like I said. I'm curious to see. I mean, I don't have any. Like I said, I haven't even paying attention to anything.
I've never tried a Xiaomi. How's the Poco 4 software?
Huh.
It's probably quite similar to a Xiaomi. I would have thought.
Yeah, I would say in terms of software, I still prefer One UI. If we're talking about custom Android skins, yeah, I think it's just a lot more consistent.
Is there a lot of bloat?
Yeah, there's a considerable amount of third-party apps on there, and a lot of them you can uninstall, of course, but there's just some I would like to get rid of because I don't really use them, but the system won't really allow you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You could disable them, can't you, or make them sleep?
Yeah, some you can disable, some you can't. Also,
really?
For some reason, it doesn't support eSIMs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
that's not a problem for me. I prefer physical SIM.
Yeah. It's just something that some people point out with it. But yeah, software-wise, I would prefer One UI a bit more. But in terms of raw performance, I mean, I've run different games on it, and it doesn't really overheat like the Pixel or even the S25, and the battery is a lot more impressive.
Yeah,
I would say, at least based on how I've used it so far.
You doing stuff for Android on that device, or is that just a personal thing?
Oh yeah, this is for Android, so I'm working on the review for it, which should be up probably this week. Yeah.
Cool. So you're switching SIMs quite a lot, aren't you?
Yeah, the pain is getting RCS to work. Sometimes it just won't work if you switch to a different phone, which is annoying. I think Damien from 95 Google posted something about RCS not working, and he had to switch back to his Pixel just to get RCS working again.
I saw that. I saw him when he was just fighting it, he couldn't get it to work. And usually when I've had the RCS problem, if I go into messages and dump the cache and dump the app altogether, force close it, force stop it, all that kind of stuff, and bring it up, and then do it, it seems like it works. But actually, that just reminded me, I didn't SIM switch. They actually put an eSIM into this Fold 7, so I'm curious to see how that's going to go because I still have my Duo. But honestly, I think if I have this now, the Duo kind of was for me. It was kind of like going back to a slab phone. It kind of gave me at least a dual screen phablety kind of experience. I still will use my Duo, but I might just use it as a reader and kind of what I always use my Duo for, because it seemed like after a couple of days of using it, I've run into the problem with, and I've always had this problem with using a Duo 2 is it's never a one-handed device unless I have it in that posture. So like half the time I'm like carrying something, I'm trying to do something, and it has to be two-handed or you're taking the chance to drop the thing on the ground. So I think now that I've got this, I think I'm going to probably, just see how it before I switch, because I don't know. I think the Duo 2 allows eSIM, but I'm not sure. Maybe even the original Duo does.
On the eSIM discussion, actually, going back to Pixel, the guys are discussing it in the chat. There's talk that Google are going to go eSIM only. I hope if that is the case, it's only in the US, because the UK is not ready for that.
Nope.
We're not ready for that, but hopefully it's not true at all anywhere. But that's what's being said.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how they've always talked about. Remember, this is the first. This 10 will be the first of a TSMC built processor, right? But I think a lot of people kind of assume that when they got to the Gen 5 Tensor G5 or whatever, the TMC one, it would be just miles ahead, and it doesn't look like that might be the case. I think it may be an upgrade. Maybe it runs cooler. but maybe the first iteration of a TSMC processor may not be as much of a jump from the Tensor Google tensors that people were.
That's the thing. Ever since the first Tensor chip, it's always been, next year's going to be better. And then Tensor G2 comes out, next year's going to be better. Same with G3 and G4. Yeah. Now with TSMC doing the latest Tensor chip, I have little doubt. I mean, for sure, it's going to be much better than the Exynos and than the Samsung-made Tensor chips. But I don't know.
The modem will be better, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
But I'm curious if they're going to handle the thermals a little better. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, it was always it seemed like the thermals and the gaming performance, and then also on top of it the heating, the overheating was always a problem. So hopefully that's a little better. Even if, and here's the thing, and to be perfectly fair, I mean, even if the processing horsepower isn't so much better, the three things I think people really complained about for the Tensor was the performance, really, as far as like just kind of laggy at games, thermals, and the modem, right? Those are the three things. And if the TSMC chip can kind of improve on those and kind of make it a little better, I think that's generally going to be considered a win, especially if you're not paying us so much more for it. But so I think I kind of just decided that, after having, the Duos and after having a Fold 5 for a while, I've kind of I have to have a foldable. And it's the opposite of Joe, right? Joe has dabbled, and it's like I don't think it has caught on with Joe as much as with me. I'm kind of the opposite. Now that I've on the foldable, I went back to having a slab phone for 8 months or so, and I can't do it, man. I just can't. To me, once you have the flexibility, and now that the phone is a little wider here, it's not as I don't think it's as perfect as the other form factor for like maybe the Pixel and stuff like that. But it's a little better than it used to be. But I don't know. I can't. I don't think I can go back to a standard slab phone. I either have to have a foldable.
I have here is the DS.
Yeah, it's Nintendo DS. There you go.
Yeah.
I wish I still had my Nintendo DS. I only have is my old. I have a PS. I have a PS Vita, and I use that every once in a while. So, but yeah, I guess I'm the opposite right now that I went back to it, and I don't think it had anything to do with the fact it was a Pixel. I think if I had a Samsung S25 or S25 Ultra, I think I would feel. I think I'm just kind of I'm for right now. The foldables are really kind of the way I want to go. It's just for me. Again, that's just my workflow, and so we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's only been again a couple of days, but so far, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. But it's so stupid. Thin wise, it's unbelievable when I'm holding it, and also the physical. Like I remember my Fold 5 being a little heavier. Obviously, it's just. Seriously, when I pick up any other phone, like if I pick up my LG Wing, it's way heavier than this, and like it's just I don't know, man. I just kind of missed having. And also, I like the physical. This also is a good thing. The physical unlock button. I still prefer that to an on-screen one, even though they're pretty good now. I just like
of course,
yeah.
So Sam, I'm gonna have to argue against that because I loved the V3. I had it 3 months. I absolutely loved it. And I cannot wait for the V5. And actually, this year, I'm going to meet Mike in person.
Yay!
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be cool.
V5 launch, yeah. So that's
going
to be cool.
That'd be cool.
To that. Yeah.
We've known each other for... Actually, this mic I'm using right now, I bought from Mike.
Oh,
yeah. That's a fine. Is that a K69B?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It's done me good all this time. So thanks, Mike.
it's I mean, the audio quality's been a lot better. And
as soon as I switched to this,
right. And then just at the end of the day, it's just like I know Joe struggled at first, kind of with it, but I think if he gets the V5 now that he's going to honor. Now, again, the only thing that really stops me for getting a Motorola is the fact that I wish Motorola made a foldable. I know they won't. They probably never will, and that's fine. The Razor's a great phone because I will tell you, I would never buy a Samsung. If I was getting a flippy dippy, it would be a Moto Razor every single time, and I'm not even considering. And like I said, and honestly, if right now I walked into a store and I had, I don't know, yesterday probably would have been hard if I would have had access to a Fold 10 or a Pixel Fold and a Samsung and a Moto. I probably would have went Pixel, but I definitely would have went Pixel, Moto, Samsung. If they, I would have went a Motorola foldable. I would be all over. I wish they will. They probably won't. That's okay.
It's been a while since I've used a Motorola phone because like I think the only Motorola phone I have here is the Moto G from like 2016 or 2015. So yeah,
was that the one to I don't know if that was the one where you could actually change the back and personalize it and they would actually put your name on the dude. I thought that was a cool like the it was called something. Was it called Moto
Maker?
Moto Maker. Yeah, that was such a cool idea, man. The only problem is it made resale kind of suck because nobody's gonna buy a phone that's got Mr. Sam the Man. Like I'm not buying that phone, right? But I also had a case on it. But it was cool that you kind of could customize a phone. You can do different backs, different colors. You can put a little message on the bottom. I thought it was kind of slick. The Moto Maker was kind of cool. But I think at least in the United States, Moto, and I know in the UK, Moto is still kind of which is hilarious because they don't have a program in the United States. If they did, I would sign up for that in the US. But that Moto seems to be doing still pretty good. I kind of like seeing that they're still relevant. I'm glad to see OEMs that have been around a while still are relevant. So it gives more choice to folks.
I think as of last year, I think they've gotten to number 3 in terms of market share in the US.
I think
so
the Flippy boy has done well.
I think Apple, Samsung, and then Motorola, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but that's if I remember correctly, that they've managed to like climb up the rankings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it was 200. It's 260 grams for the wing. Okay, yeah. Then it's that. Yeah, the wings got some heft to it, and it was. I didn't know it was, but just considering the fact that I think for right now, I think Samsung with the Fold 7, I think they really did a really good job with finally with hardware and making enough changes. And again, you could argue that the removal of the S Pen is kind of a lose, but I think for the most part, I don't think people really are using the S Pen as much, especially in the inner screen. I never felt 100% comfortable with it. I know it was plastic tip, and I never used a lot of pressure on it, but I definitely felt a lot more better using a pen on an Ultra screen, the inside of the screen. Yeah. So, yeah.
Although the screen's much thicker, isn't it? The inner screen's 26% thicker, is it?
Yeah, and then just I also too just look complaining about the crease, but I haven't been able to use the Honor phones or any phones with the crease, but I'm telling you, if I run my finger across it, it is so not noticeable. You have to, if you just kind of glance over it, you can't feel it. If I just run my finger across it, but if I put a little pressure on the screen, it'll dimple a bit. But just physically, unless you put it at a real specific angle, you can see it. But I'm telling you, the crease they've done a really good job with that. I know on the older ones, I mean, this is obviously the best fold ever made. It should be, right, if it's brand new. But I don't know. I think Samsung's done a really good job with this. I think that
Samsung.
I don't know if it's phone of the year. I don't know, but it's close.
Do you know what would impress me if Samsung did like the anti-glare thing they do?
Oh,
that would in the inner screen. Imagine that. That would be impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah, I don't, and I'm if there's a technical or a physical limitation on why they cannot do that. There may be, and I don't know what that is.
That's
but
that
really
impressive.
The anti-glare would be cool. And I'm telling you, if there was anybody who could pull it off, it would be probably Samsung. They would probably be able. If there were anybody who's going to figure out how to do it, it would be them. Their display technology has always been class leading. Honestly, I have an LG TV and I don't have a Samsung TV, but they are really solid. If anybody pull out tech, it's going to be Samsung. Maybe I take a few years. We'll see. That'd be cool. Yeah, you're right, Joe. That would be awesome.
So are you guys going to get the new Pixels when they come out this August?
Good question. I don't know.
I will not.
I bought the 9 Pro XL and I rarely used it. I think it got my SIM for 2 weeks. Then I went onto the V3 and went elsewhere through the year, and I regretted it. So I'm probably not going to, but I never say never.
Yeah,
right. And I'm actually keeping my. Still have my 9 Pro XL, so it's right here. But I'm actually going to. My daughter's using the Pixel 6, my
Oh.
original Pixel when I started getting it. So I'm actually going to give her this, so that kind of upgrades her technically, and then I'm going to trade the actual Pixel 6 into AT&T as the trade-in for this. I lose like $100, but that way she gets upgraded, I get upgraded, and this gets her a good phone. And then worst case, I think I still maybe at one point go buy like a Pixel 7a or a Pixel 8a just to have a Pixel phone for a backup phone, or if I want to take pictures or whatever.
I would avoid the 7a because of all the battery issues. So I think the 8a so far has been, I don't know, so far has not had any known battery issues.
Yeah.
Like the
so
7a,
pick up, and I could probably pick up an 8A on a swapper or a resale site for probably a couple $100. It probably would be too bad. If I take it for just really for camera and just to kind of keep up with the Pixel. Hell, I might even decide to flash it and put a custom ROM on it, or just kind of use that as kind of a fun phone to kind of.
Yeah. I heard that the Pixel Fold this year might launch later, maybe in like October.
I heard a delay. Did you? I heard that delay. I didn't get an article because I literally saw it about 20 minutes before we went here. Do you have any idea of maybe why that is, or did they kind of really explain the delay possibly, or?
Some people are speculating maybe supply chain issues, but honestly, no one has any verified reason as to why Google has delayed it. Yeah, at least at this point in time.
I wonder if it's because they want to let the dust settle on the Fold 7 and the V5 coming out and then launch. But then that might be a bad strategy. I don't know.
Because they're announcing the new Pixels on August 28th, and they'll be available to buy on the. Oh no! They're announcing them on the 20th.
20th, yeah, that's it.
Available to buy on the 28th, and I think that's when. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying too much. Nope. I think
there'll be so in trouble. We don't want to cause a catastrophe here. That's I
think they might. I don't know. Maybe Google's getting a feel of what's going on in the industry.
I feel like that's maybe the strategy. Yeah, just to sort of see what's going on.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I've said too much, guys.
Well, let's not get yourself all in the jam. No, we won't. That's the problem with the show. I mean, I guess I could theoretically. The problem is it's live streamed over the internet and people are paying attention. Remember how secrets go according to the CIA. If one person knows, it ain't a secret no more, right? We don't want to have to neutralize half our listeners, right? So that's cool.
No names have been mentioned. No names were mentioned.
Good deal. And we're not going to mention those. We're just going to go.
You did well.
We're just going to move on. We're going to move on from that. We're just going to act like that never happened.
It never happened. It never happened.
We're going to pivot. They pivot. Right now, we're going to pivot. So I'm curious to see. Like you said, obviously, we got the. This is obviously more of a or centric show because we're more Android folks. But obviously the 17s are coming out and iOS 26 is coming out. I don't know. Some of the renders I've seen look a little odd. They just look odd. I just don't know why they're changing the hardware. Just to make it look. They're not really coming up with anything significant. So if we change the camera housing, maybe that's enough to kind of keep the Apple folks at bay. But I don't know, man. I think Apple's going to have to really start to do something here.
Yeah.
At least in the United, and maybe in the United States, they're thinking about it. They figure they've kind of maybe fallen to a lull that we can do whatever and people just go with it. But everywhere else other than the United States, I think people are starting to kind of get a little frustrated with the fact that Apple just isn't really bringing anything. Obviously they're past and everything else is doing pretty good, but when it comes to their phones, I think people are getting kind of frustrated with it.
Yeah, I think you can. On one hand, you can probably say that as they've used the same product design for so long that Apple fans love it and they don't. I can't speak for everyone, but some people probably just prefer the way the older phones look, so they keep getting the new one because they know what they're getting. And now that they're trying to change things up, maybe it's some people are feel like, why should we change stuff for the sake of change? I don't know. Maybe Apple's gonna come with some reason why they engineered the new phones to be different.
Mm.
I don't know.
So I guess it's
Speculation.
I'm not sure either, but who knows? But other than we're just gonna not talk about the iPhone because we're kind of know what we're gonna kind of get.
Mhm.
And obviously in the year we still have the pixels that are coming out, but if you could right now, I know we're a couple months short of the end of the year, but what would you say are your top 2 or 3 phones, like as far as overall, like quality, form factor, ease of
Wow.
use, like what, like right now, if you could pick, I'll give you 2 or 3, or you can just pick one. But like, what are the top 3 so far phones that you're like, man, these are really pretty good OEMs for Android in the year of 2025 for folks. And we're not talking about price. If you want to factor that into your decision, that's fine. But this is budget, mid-range, flagship, foldable, whatever. What are your 3
Top 3
most interesting, or top 3? Like, man, this is if you're going to buy this phone, you're going to be pretty solid. You're going to do well.
That's a tough question because because I haven't used everything. I haven't used all the new flagships this year, but going off from
Joe says the Moto, obviously Edge 60 Pro, and that is a great phone. I mean, as far as like the Edge Pro, pretty good. Moto does a really good job at it. When was have you not used any Moto in the last couple of years? Like any of the Edges, any of the G styluses, or any Moto device? Yeah.
Unfortunately not. Yeah. Maybe something that I'm looking to change soon. I mean, I've been looking at the newer Edge, the newer Moto Edge, and it looks pretty sweet. Yeah, but I don't know. I probably need to try them soon because I've been hearing a lot of good things about them. Obviously.
They are good for their money. They're good value phones, really good value phones, and they meet the needs for most people. I think Moto are more going down like the aesthetic look, like how the phone looks and fits in your lifestyle. They're not going for hard specs. They're not chasing the numbers so much.
Yeah.
The only exception from that is the Razer Ultra, I'd say. But they're nice phones. They're very basic software, easy to use. The camera's decent enough. Finding a few software bugs, but I think it needs a Snapdragon chipset in there though, because it's a lower end.
Oh, is that one running a Dimensity chip?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's only because I use flagship phones that I notice a difference. I don't think other people would.
I think most people who are just using phones generally as just a general consumer, I think they kind of expect phones to kind of laggy every once in a while, or kind of bug or an app crash every once in a while. I think they're just kind of used. But yeah, that blue, like I said, I liked every Moto I've had a G, so I've had the lower end Gs, right? I've had, I didn't have and the Razer I had wasn't the best Razer. It was the more basic one. It wasn't the Razer Plus or anything. I really liked using them. The only thing I didn't like is circle search and some of those other kind of little features and the call features. But as far as software, and me, I'm not really a camera centric guy. If it takes good photos, I'm okay with kind of having a phone that maybe doesn't perform, as opposed to somebody like Joe, who's a lot more camera centric. That really drives a needle for him. He wants to have a competent camera. But I think you're right, for the money and bang for the buck, I think it's very, very hard, especially if you don't have access. Like for in the US, we don't have Poco, we don't have Realme, we don't have right. For a budget phone where you want to spend, you walk into the store and spend $400 and get a Moto G stylus 2025. I think that does a lot of what you needed to do. A lot of people could be really with that, not have to be into one of these kind of deals where you're under contract, right? It was kind of nice having a Razer straight up and just knowing I didn't have to make payments on it. And then I think with the vegan leather, with the one that blue is really nice. They have colors and they're doing material choices and stuff like that. And I think they've got the real bougie looking one. Didn't they come out with some Razer? It's got like some diamonds or some bougie Paris Hilton.
And he raises Swarovski, what we call it. Is that how you say it?
Right.
That
brilliant edition.
That's clearly not for dudes like me. That literally looks like for a different
No, I
customer
beg to
base.
differ. I can see you rocking that, mate, in your Mustang.
Okay, that's fair. That's so at least what is the like what phone have you really used this year? Maybe to make it easier that you were like, man, this phone really kind of like I like this a lot. This really is like this phone baller.
Surprisingly, the S25.
Okay.
Yeah, because the
Perfect.
Pixel 9. The Pixel 9 was a good phone. It was a good, as far as Pixel phones go. The Pixel 9. If you're going to get a Pixel phone, get the Pixel 9. But overall, it does have some stuff. It still has some shortcomings. Like, I just get tired of charging my phone twice a day, especially with busy days.
Right.
The S25, sure, the camera's not on the same level, especially for point-and-shoot photography like the Pixel, but as far as functionality goes, I don't know. The S25 feels more like a complete package for me. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I might switch back to Pixel soon, but for the meantime, the S25 has been the more complete smartphone experience for me this year.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Joe,
not
TK,
not even the Ultra. Yeah, the base model was surprisingly impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, Joe, Dita asked about on that phone you have if it has Ready for or the whatever they call Ready for now. And that's what I don't know what they call it.
Yeah,
so
it's
whatever
changed
the
name,
Smart
isn't
Connect.
it? Yeah,
Is it Smart
name.
Connect or
it has got
or something like that? But whatever the Ready for experience is.
Yeah, Smart Connect. I've not used it. Funny enough.
Okay, but it is on that phone. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I
thought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go, Dita. That kind of and then apparently our buddy TK Bay had the glamorous version or bougie version or whatever.
TK's got a video up for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so check that out if you're interested in seeing the bougie version or the really high end version of the motos. And it's kind of nice that they do that. It's kind of fun. I think it's kind of fun.
And that highlights what I said earlier, Sam. Right, about Moto going for the fashion, the aesthetic side of devices and how they fit as a fashion accessory. We have them on us all the time, right? You want them to look cool. And I think they're nailing
you
that.
Have a foldable, right? If a flippable, you might as well have one that's got a little chain or it's got some bling on it. Or it's it's kind of cool because you can do make it your own. Because phones now are for some people are kind of accessories, right? They they have to look a certain way, they have to match and that kind of stuff. And people really kind of identify, with their phones, either cases or colors or whatever, or wallpapers or whatever they got going on, right? So it's kind of nice that Moto is kind of finding that, I think, overlooked aspect of mobile phones, right? They're kind of like going, hey, let's go for something that's fun. Huawei did it with the Porsche design and McLaren versions of the OnePlus and stuff like that. So, but it's kind of nice to see that Moto was kind of leaning into that a little bit more. They figure, well, they had the Paris Hilton one version of the Razor. I saw that it was like pink. I guess it was a pink color Razor. It's kind of cool. I think it's kind of nice that they're doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, hell, shit, it's already been like an hour already, man. It's like every time we have Mike on, it's like we talk about stuff and then we're like, poof, and then the whole hour goes by and he's going to be like, he's going to wake up and go, man, I could have done anything else with my day on a Sunday instead of talking to these chuckleheads. But you know what? It's okay. We always appreciate you having you on, man. So what is what's the end of the year? Like you're just going to working at Fandroid, being a dad and kind of doing the same thing, or do you have anything you're kind of thinking about doing? Have you ever thought about maybe, I don't know if you can because of Fandroid, but because you're kind of freelancing, writing for other publications or maybe expanding what you want to do, or have you thought about it much or not really, or where's that at?
Yeah, I actually do a bit of I am a contributor for Gadgets Boy for Tomei.
Okay.
Oh, Tommy's great.
So he obviously he has his YouTube channel and all those auto reviews, his car reviews, but he does have a website. So I do regularly contribute to that as well.
Oh, nice, man. Tommy's great. Yeah. I met him at Summit and he's a really nice guy. Really, really cool guy.
Yeah, I saw his interview with Lewis Hamilton. It's pretty crazy, man. Yeah.
He's doing really well. He
Yeah.
deserves it.
Definitely.
He's got a great personality, like for being on camera and doing interviews, and it's just quite natural.
Yeah. So because so basically it's doing my YouTube channel and doing 2 different websites.
You ain't got much time on your hands.
Yeah, I'm looking to kind of like revive the YouTube channel again. So I'm looking to like put more time into making more videos if possible, because it's really taken a back seat in the past few months. Yeah.
Give your channel a shout out, mate. Where can people find that channel?
Okay. Thanks. So if you're watching, if you want to check us out at Team VRY, that's TEAMVRY. So we do Android stuff. We actually do a lot of Apple stuff. We have some retro gaming stuff on there as well. And if you want to check those out, it will mean a lot if you guys check out the videos and hit that subscribe button. Yeah,
I've always enjoyed your content.
Yeah, I like watching your videos and just generally, having chats and everything else. And then we'll make sure in the show notes for today, when I post those on when I post the show, I'll make sure I get those links in there. Also link Fandroid too. So Mike's got a ton of articles on Fandroid. Go check that out. He writes about all sorts of stuff, Pixel stuff. I mean, and just everybody else on the channel. Fandroid, like you said, has been around since I think 2007 or something. It's been around for quite a while. Yeah. And they really do a good job. So, Mike does a good job, and everybody else write articles. I know there's a couple of the writers for the website. Go check that out too. So we'll have Mike's channel for YouTube. Go check that out. Subscribe. And if you already have it, chances are most of the people listening probably are, but if you get a couple more and you tell your friends and make that spread, that's cool. And I'll also put the Fandroid link up there. Read Mike's articles. So they're really well written. And they're also not overly I like the articles too, especially about the Pixel one, because you just kind of like paragraph, done. Right. It's not like this 15-minute, it almost sometimes you get some of these articles and they're so almost like a TLDR. It's just like I can't,
this is where AI comes in. Summarize this for me.
Right. But at the end of the day, it's yours, nice Mike. Right. But that's what I like about Mike's the articles on Fandroid, because they aren't really they're not really too long. They're good, nice, condensed. Almost like they're almost written AI wise. I know that you guys aren't doing that, but it's I think that one article you wrote for the Pixel, I think it took like maybe 5 minutes to read, and it was just like boom, 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 done. And then you can move on and got a good handle on what you were trying to talk about. And what
I do kind of like to keep it concise. Yeah. So I've actually been writing since, I don't know, maybe the early 2000s. So just out of habit and practice.
Over time.
Yeah, because so before Fandroid, I did do a lot of news writing back in college and after college. So you kind of like to get practice at old school style of news writing, where like all the important stuff is at the top, and just kind of like trip it down to like the least important details at the end of it. I'm an old school guy.
Yeah, so, I do too. I appreciate the older way of doing things, because I think if you have at least a good handle on the way things were done, sometimes those things, just because they're older, doesn't necessarily mean they aren't relevant, and you can't build upon those and refine those. But sometimes it's just nice to see kind of like old nostalgic ways of like writing styles, and I just think it's I don't want to lose that, because unfortunately, if we get so far down the path, we forget all those kind of old school, like the news, right? Walter Cronkite's, those kind of things, like the way news used to be. It's kind of nice to have somebody that writes in more of a kind of like a older style, or a little bit more of a kind of traditional news style. Yeah, I do appreciate that, especially as a person who's in his 50s. I appreciate that, because that's the way stuff used to be written, and I like that. So it's a good.
Have the font like that big he does. That really needs it.
Right. Yeah. D-Day. I get it, right? It's like, okay, what happened? I don't know. Probably the details are in the middle, right? So at the end of the day, but so we'll make sure we put your channel on there for sure, Mike, and on Fandroid as well. And go check that out, folks, if you're listening to the show. And again, don't be a stranger. We'd like to have you on maybe at the end maybe mid next year when we start getting into the new phone release cycle. Obviously, the OnePluses and the Xiaomi's of the next 2026 year are going to come out, and we're going to be right back in this kind of cycle of good for if you're writing for this. It's good to have material for folks like us who, I mean, it gives us something to talk about. But I think generally, folks are just kind of like, Okay, let me guess. All right, the S26 is coming out. The OnePlus 14, the Nothing Phone, the Pixel this, the Samsung that, the Fold
Admittedly,
this. Yeah,
it does get kind of cyclical. So
yeah,
there's this routine every year. So it's January. There's new Samsungs are going to come out. It's August. So the new Pixels. Oh, it's September. So it's iPhone again. So it there's it also kind of makes it interesting to try to keep things sounding fresh. Hence
Yeah.
all the editorials.
Right.
Some
Well,
people
and
make-
also and now we're getting to the point where I've already started to hear stuff about the S26. I'm like, God, the Fold 7 just got released like a month ago, and we're already talking about the S26. It's like, and again, you got to get. It's like sports, right? Because they have off seasons, and when like in right now, the only thing really going on is baseball. NFL preseason just started, so those are starting to kind of talk about. But really, in the summer, in the sports world in the U.S., it's really just baseball. There's no MLS is going, but there's no NFL football, there's no NHL hockey, there's no NBA basketball. So it's kind of like they have to kind of like make things relevant. They're just talking about stuff that's really not happening. It's like trade rumors and possible pickups and the draft and all this other kind of stuff that people don't really care about. So trying to keep everything fresh and relevant is hard when it's cycling. It's a cyclical thing because there might be 3 months of gap where you just don't have a whole lot of what's going on. You just kind of come editorials or, opinion pieces or something just to kind of keep people. And sometimes I think they write opinion pieces just to stir up shit, just so people get all keyboard warrior, like you're stupid, right? And then you have engagement, although it's toxic engagement, but it keeps that cycle. Unfortunately, some people kind of resort to knowing they're going to post something that's a hot take that maybe is going to get the whole pitchfork and torch people out there going, I'm going to burn this damn castle to the ground, right? Which is, I get it, but to me, it seems editorially and news it's kind of a layup. It's kind of a softball. I don't think you should do that because everybody knows what you're doing now. Because I think readers are trying to get hip to, okay, you're just making that hot take just because you're stirring up shit because it's going to generate, it's polarizing, right? I think it's kind of the safety play for riders. Sometimes I guess you have to do it, but I don't know. Sometimes I think like, exactly what this is. The clickbait or right bait is it where you know that take's going to start pissing people off and people are going to get in and be on both camps of arguing pros or cons. So I get it. So it's a struggle. That's why I don't write. That's why we do this shit, because Joe and I aren't writers and he's the reviewer of phones. I'm just kind of like, I might talk about. We did start a TikTok thing. I didn't put anything on the TikTok. I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Started it though.
Yeah, I started it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might do something with this. But probably not,
man. I'd love to see it. Let me see it, Sam. I want to see it.
I have to own my own.
Do it.
Do it. See what I get? It's the peer pressure. I don't like that. It doesn't feel right. So, anyways, Mike, so just make sure that next time, maybe we'll get you on maybe at the beginning of next year or whatever. Or anytime your schedule allows. I realize that you got a lot going on. So thank you so much for taking your time out and kind of meeting with us. And I know we have a chat that me and Joe and a bunch of other like-minded individuals are always in. So we always do keep in touch with each other. But it's good to actually have you on it and actually talk to you. I miss actually having these conversations with you. So thanks.
Long overdue.
Yeah, and so thanks for. Yeah, so thanks for swinging on in and, again, hanging out with us and doing whatever silliness we do because we're completely insane.
I look forward to seeing you in person finally.
Absolutely. That'll be good. Yeah, we got to make sure we get pictures and we talk about that and we'll share that because that's going to be good. Anytime, like I said, with me meeting Adam Dodd was like, that was the first person I have ever like met in person from the tech space. And that was just having lunch and just actually having a chat with him was fantastic. He's such a great guy to talk to.
Adam's a funny guy. I met him during the Nothing Phone 3 launch.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got to chat with him a bit. Yeah,
he's a great guy. I mean, we just sat there and just talked about all sorts of stuff and just had and actually the restaurant we went to, he actually thought was a pretty good pick, so that was cool. And then it was good. And it was funny because he thought we had to like drive there, and I'm like, no, dude, from where you're staying, it's literally like right over there in that strip mall. It's like literally 1,000 yards that way. He's like, oh well, shit, okay, cool. So that was kind of fun, and it was just a good conversation. He's very gracious and a lot of fun, and we like having. I liked actually meeting up with him. It was really a treat for me because I've been a fan of Adam for a long time. So for folks like for me that don't get to see, I don't get to go to these events like you guys have had access to, so I don't get to meet anybody. He was actually the first and only person I've actually met who is actually in the space. So that was kind of cool for me, because it's just different when you're actually standing face to face with somebody. It's always kind of cool. I mean, we do this, and I always feel connected to Joe, and I consider him a proper mate. And like I said, but we've never actually met in person. And we share family pictures and stuff, so I feel like we're kind of like I'm Uncle Sam, complete with the top hat and the beard and the whole American thing, right? But it was cool. So it was a lot of fun. So I'm glad you got a chance to meet Adam. But yeah, he's super nice guy. I had a really good time. So, but anyway, so on that note, we'll just go ahead and do our regular sign off. So I'm gonna go check out Xfinity soon. Yeah.
Before we go, I know I said about it last episode, but if people want an extra dose of me, I am going to be doing another podcast. A podcast me and Sam are huge fans of, called Phone Show Chat. I'm over the moon to be joining it with Ted. Our first episode will be on the 1st of September.
Oh, cool.
So not too long away. We have recorded a little intro episode. It's about 10 minutes long. But yeah, I think there's websites up as well. The Phones Show Chat. So it's like phones show. So there's 2 S's there.
Right.
But yeah, check it out. .co.uk, I think it is.
Absolutely. So yeah, I forgot to mention that, and that I am super excited. And so for folks know, that's going to be as an American, I have no idea what the hell a fortnight is. I'm sure it was in some kind of song once from like 1700 or whatever.
Although
British people use fortnight, so that's what is that 14 days? Is that what a fortnight?
Yeah, that's right. But Sam, we are in talks about what's right going forward, because we're not sure how this new PSC is going to look like yet. So I mean, Ted's just done a poll in the MeWe community to see what their thoughts are, see what they're wanting. But it's been quite nice because Steve's an absolute legend, been in the game a long time. So I was a little worried about trying to take that legacy on with Ted. But the response has been pretty positive so far. So and like
I said, it's really not. I don't think it's just like anything else. It's hard to replace, and you're really not replacing Steve.
No, you can't replace.
And again, like it's funny because when I've been a fan of PSC for years, and all this time, and it's weird because it's almost like that these are people. It's just like your sports figures, right? You think they're going to play forever, but they have to retire at some point, right? And especially with footballers or whatever, you're just so used to it, and you're just like. You never really know, like when your favorite footballer or your favorite commentator or your favorite news person or your favorite actor or whatever retires or is gone, right? It's just weird how you think that how can this be the way it's going to, how can it possibly, and it changes a lot of times for the good. And I'm really excited. I'm glad that you and Ted continue to do it. And I think this is something I've always said to folks. I said, the show always has felt like it's been me driven and Joe just kind of writes co-pilot, and it's never been that. I've never felt that way. I think when we first started doing it, I think Joe was kind of like nervous, and first couple of shows it felt a little weird.
I'd say.
But after 100 almost 20 episodes, Ted could have picked a lot of people to do that show, and he picked Joe, and it's because I think Joe does a really good job of being a dual host, I guess is the best way to describe it. And again, it's different for me because I don't have any aspirations to do anything. Like if somebody reached out to me, and honestly, after the Across the Podcast, I was ready just to walk away from all this. Like I
weren't letting you know.
I just kind of was like, it's cool. It was a lot of fun, but Matt wanted to do something else, and I was just kind of like, whatever. And I never even considered like doing it on my own. It just never did. And when Joe reached out to me, I'll be honest with you. At first, I had nothing to do with Joe. I just wasn't.
You wasn't so sure, was you? Yeah.
Well, I had kind of, I guess, moved on from it. I thought, well, that was kind of a fun thing. We did it for a little while, but who cares? But I thought about it, and actually, after talking to Joe and having exposure to him, and we kind of knew each other, I was like, I mean, what the hell? Either if it works, great. And it's been a labor of love for the last couple of years, and I cannot imagine not doing this.
Yeah.
Well, we'll never do the show on my own. I will never have a podcast completely on my own. That's just not going to happen. If Joe and I did, Joe decided to move on, I would just not do it and go back on the shelf. And if I never get pulled off the shelf, that's fine. But it's good to see that Joe's is going in this, and I can't think of a better person to match with Ted and kind of fill in that role and kind of step into that seat. So I'm excited about it. I'm obviously been a fan, going to continue to be a fan, and now I kind of have somebody. Obviously, I met Ted, and we had a great talk. But it's kind of nice to have Joe in that seat, kind of stepping in for and keeping that PSC going, because I think that it would be a shame to let that completely just drop off. I would just feel real awkward for that show not to be in the space, because I think it brings a lot to the table, especially for the community they built. So I'm excited to see it, and I'm looking forward to September, and we'll still continue to do the Nomad Tech project.
Yep. This ain't going anywhere.
Right. And so I'm very excited, and I was extremely happy for Joe. That made me happy. So I'm glad to see that happening. So
cheers, mate.
So anyways, Mike, we'll make sure we get those links in there for you. Again, thank you so much for coming on. Again, if you haven't, I'm going to go to extremeskins.co.uk. I'm going to skin my shit. Although this blue's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
But I got to skin it because I want to protect it and maybe at least have a couple of different colors in case I want to change it up. So I'm going to skin my shit. And that's right. I'm going to go to them. And you should skin your shit as well. And Mike doesn't have to skin his shit because, I don't want to impose on Mike. He doesn't have to skin anything. It'd be cool if he did. And if he does, go to extremeskins.co.uk. And also, enjoy your tech and have fun with that. And then we'll come back on next week. And again, in September, the phones, shows, chats, all the chats, just all the S's. Just put all the S's there.
Phone show chat, yeah.
So, and again, don't be a dick. And enjoy your tech, and we will see you next Sunday on the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe. Thanks again to Mike Fry for coming on in. Check out his website. Show him some love. Make a comment. Read his articles and tell him how great he is, because duh, he is.
And share
it. And share his articles with those and let you know. And then for us, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much, everybody. We love your faces. See you next Sunday on the Nomad Tech Project. And take care, everybody. Love you. Have a good week. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.